boy of 10 years old steals his parents' car to visit grandparents 68 miles away.
God dang, how old was he?
10.
Okay.
Then when he's pulled over, he tells the police he is a dwarf who has forgotten his license.
Freaking legend!
that
is a legend right there. Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, smoke you what you seen and I'll tell you what I saw.
Hollywood, what you think, and I'll tell you what I thought.
And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash Talk. What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Trash Talkers podcast.
We made it.
We made it, Schmo Dog.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Everything.
I thought she was about to be like,
yeah. For Martin, I'm like, oh, God.
Shout out, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's up, man? How you been?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Yeah, just life in general.
You know when they say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what does that mean exactly?
It means you have the freedom to pursue what makes you happy, which is not entirely true, because some people get kicks out of things that you just can't do.
What do you mean?
Like illegal things.
Oh,
There's people out there that are into necrophilia. Like, you're not necessarily allowed to do that. So
that's not liberty, though. I mean, I guess it's not freedom. Oh, God dang.
That's the argument there.
What do you mean? If I'm free, I should be free. Yeah, but there's lines.
Yeah. Liberty is not just the freedom to do anything in the world you want. It's the freedom to do whatever you want as long as you're not infringing on someone else.
Okay.
So you can pursue your happiness as long as you're not infringing on someone else's happiness.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't care what you do as long as you're not hurting anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be, in my opinion. Yeah.
Did you do anything interesting this weekend?
Not really. Drove some RC cars, things like that,
What did I do past weekend? What was
it? Man. I love RC cars.
I know you. We literally, I could sit here and talk about MMA and music all day. Smokey could sit here and talk about RC cars and music all day long.
And football.
And football. Mm-hmm. No, dude, I had a night in this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
sometimes that's best.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, ain't nothing good happening out there after dark anyway.
I mean, it's debatable. We might find some good things happening out there.
It depends on your pursuit of happiness.
Exactly. No, man, but another we've been voted for another award, man.
I heard. Yes, man. We are just raking them in at this point.
Exactly. We've been voted the #1 podcast for people who order fast food from a restaurant and can't wait to get to the house, so they eat it in the car and just leave the bag in the curb.
Yes, on Thursday evenings.
On Thursday.
Yes.
We've been voted the #1 podcast for people who order fast food, can't wait to get to the house and just eat it in the car.
On Thursday. Yes, and if you are ordering fast food and you can't wait to get to the house to eat it on Thursday and you're not listening to us, so get your life right.
Yes, I mean, we're working our way. Yeah, what was last week? 1997 Nissan
with a
dent in the right door.
Yeah.
Yes, that was us, man. We going, Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Before we hop into it, we're going to read the top comments and everything. But guys, seriously, last week's podcast, the past 3 weeks podcast has been amazing and
good response.
Yes, man. We couldn't do this at all with you.
Yes, thank you so much for listening to our jabber each week.
Yeah, I mean this is literally us. This is like just watch this. This is how we can do it right here. Smokey. Let's talk about light bulbs.
Light bulbs, man? You know what? Why does anyone need more than 60 watts, really, for any situation? I guess maybe if there's a higher vaulted ceiling, you might want to go to an 80. Why do they make 100 watts, man?
Well, not only that, but like. Did I heard a conspiracy that light bulbs are meant to go out so you can buy more that they can
Yes, absolutely. Because there are light bulbs that have been made hundreds of years ago that are still burning. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, hey, I can't give you something that's going to last forever because then my company will go out of business.
Yeah, exactly. Edison, or who was it that invented the light bulb? Wasn't Edison?
Yeah, Thomas Edison.
Was it Edison? Okay. Or is that one of those that he stole?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. But you see what I'm talking about? We can talk about anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. All right, let's jump into the top 3 comments from the last podcast.
Yeah.
And #1 is Gary Cunningham. Gary Cunningham says, Varg replaced the bassist Necro Butcher. He had his own band, Burzum, who was on Euronymous' label. Death Like Silence Until the Light Takes Us is a great documentary, and the book Lords of Chaos also.
Yeah, what a tangled web.
I know, dude.
We're definitely going to have to watch Until the Light Takes Us.
100%. So shout out to you, Gary Cunningham, very much so. Next, top commenter on last week's podcast is Corey Cole. Corey Cole says, you guys are as genuine as they come. You feel music the same way I do. Conversation with the Devil by Ray Willie Hubbard.
Oh, wow.
I'll guarantee you will love it.
Wow. We really appreciate the comment, too.
Yeah, and thank you, Corey Cole. Also, he got a reply on that saying, from shout out Jason Stacy, who said, absolutely, they'll love it.
Yeah, sounds like we got to check that out.
We got to. And third top three comment is from Roll M Punked. Watch Hatred a few times. Always needed at least a day to feel good in any way again. Gigi Allen was just disturbing. Very interesting, dark, but also really disturbing. Most black metal guys are just showmen. They don't act in real life when they are on stage. Gigi Allen didn't act at all. He really was crazy and out of his mind.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And that's artists in general. I mean, most artists that depict something extreme in their lyrics are not actually doing it in real life. You know, it's more of an outlet. It's a creative outlet. And like Quentin Tarantino portrays some pretty crazy things in his movies and doesn't get shunned for the movies that he puts out. He actually gets commended for them.
You know, there's, again, Young Thug and Gunner, they're rappers from Atlanta. They're all right, so Quentin Tarantino, that's art, right?
Yes.
So rap music is art, right?
Yeah.
Young Thug and Gunna are in court right now with a federal federal charge just because of their lyrics.
Is it just because, or were they caught doing something else?
They've never. I don't want to speak and say anything. You know, I've learned the word alleged, but they're using their lyrics in court basically.
Yeah.
And it's like, could you do that with Quentin Tarantino with the movie? Like,
I'm sure if he portrayed or actually did some of the things that were portrayed in his movie, if he did them in real life and he had to go to court for them, I'm sure they would use that against him. But
it's art. You have the right of freedom of speech.
Where's the line, though? I mean,
we've spoken on that before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. It's a tough argument.
That's crazy.
I just say, I'm all for having a creative outlet, and if you have some lyrics that are violent, that's a way for a young person to get out their angst and things like that. And you want to portray a certain subset of society to the people, but just don't commit those things in real life.
Yeah, because there are things that are called crime. Those are crimes.
Yes, absolutely.
So today we're going to go down another list, and we're going to do top 10 bands that broke up. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't know what's going to be on this list, and I can't even. I mean, this is rock, this is metal, this is a bunch of genres. But can you think of any? I mean, actually, I probably can think of
some big breakups.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we shouldn't talk about it because they might be on this list.
Yeah, I don't want to end up being like, oh yeah, there's the big one, and then it's going to end up being on the list, like we did with Gigi Allen through the entire list.
Dude, you knew, and I had a feeling he was going to be on there, but you were like, dude, he's got to be. Yeah. And lo and behold, which I still think I still don't understand how he's number one compared to like Euronymous.
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
It must be the amount of acts that he committed.
Yeah, but he never murdered anyone.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I don't know. But yeah,
it's the weight of one giant act that involves murder, or
a 1,700 giant act. I got you.
Smaller acts. Yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But top 10 bands that broke up, and we got a list here. Shout out to Loudwire, but should we go and hop into it?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So number 10 on this list is Blink 182.
Blink 182.
So, before we read the synopsis, do you know of any reason as to why this might be the number 10?
Well, we saw Tom DeLonge on the Rogan podcast.
Oh, God.
And he went into some crazy things. So, the only thing I could think of right offhand is maybe he was a little too far out there, allegedly.
Dude, in that podcast, he's like, "Well, I can't tell you who told me," and Joe Rogan's like, "Bro, you."
Yeah, he claimed to have some crazy information.
But what's crazy is what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that people do not believe there's any substance behind that. He's just a habitual liar.
Right, and what?
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying people think that he is.
Well, Joe Rogan literally said, "I don't believe you." I mean, he didn't basically say that, but you could tell that was where he was going. Mm-hmm. But what if and if y'all don't know what we're talking about, Tom DeLonge's like, he said that, there was like UFOs, and he has proof that there was aliens and
Illuminati things,
Yeah, people higher up in the government would come to him and say, "Hey, we're gonna tell you these things," but and Joe Rogan, what he would always say is, why would they pick you?
Yeah, that's the question is, why you? Because they want to leak the information out. Why pick this guy who is basically uncredible in mainstream society these days because of the things he said?
Well, let's think about this. Why not him?
I would think if you had information that you really wanted people to know, you could just have a newscast or a press conference or something, right?
I would say so.
Why would you go to this guy who was in a punk band and say, "Here's all this information now. Make sure you let it out a little bit at a time. Just get the word out."
I mean, he said he was like working with some of the top officials. I mean, what if like when he was like I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like, what if he was like when he was a kid, maybe he was part of like some government program, and now at this age, like, hey, we need to test things and see if what we did when you were a kid actually came to fruition, and it did come to fruition, and we're gonna tell you these things. Like, maybe he was the right guy.
Possibly. I mean, I don't rule anything out in our world because literally anything can happen in this world. So I can't rule it out completely. It just seems so outrageous, the things he would say.
While we're on this topic, if you had to bet money, aliens real or not?
Yeah, there are aliens out there somewhere. Yes, I would bet money. Absolutely, there are somewhere in the universe. Yes.
What like some of our greatest minds on Earth right now? Elon Musk and who's the astrophysicist?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. He says either there are or there aren't.
Yeah.
And I heard one of them made a really good a comparison. He's like, imagine you go to the beach and you take a glass and you pick up some beach water in that glass, and you look at the glass full of beach water and it's like, well, there's no sharks in here, so sharks don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just picking up a small portion.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing when we look out through the universe with our telescopes. We're seeing such a minute portion of the universe that just because we haven't located any yet doesn't mean that they're not out there.
Yeah.
And actually, the universe is so expansive. We don't even have an idea how big the universe actually is.
It's so big that the human brain can't even fathom it.
Exactly.
It's
exactly. So if we're going to assume that it's that gigantic, and there is life on this one planet, without a doubt, it is obvious, then there has to be another planet out there with life on it. Yes. Aliens do exist somewhere in the universe. Now, the question is, have they come to Earth or not?
Well, if you say yes, they are. So what do you say to like the Neil deGrasse Tyson and Elon Musk who says either they are or there aren't?
I say there definitely is. I say there's no way you can claim that the universe is that big and say that this is just the one single anomaly of a planet when there is billions and billions and billions and trillions.
You're not even
yes,
close.
Exactly.
It's infinite.
Yes, exactly.
But see, now I'm playing devil's advocate again, and you being my dog, you say I don't say anything is fact anymore, but you're willing to say fact on this.
Well, I say if the information they give us is correct about the size of the universe, then it's almost impossible. I mean, maybe. I guess there's still that sliver of a chance.
So there's a possibility. So I've got a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance. I would say about 1 in a million. So you're telling me there's a chance. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you're that person. You're like, I don't say anything's a fact anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying if the information they give us is correct, then how could it not happen?
Right. I mean,
if someone can prove to me how it cannot happen, then maybe I'll believe it.
Yeah, well, I guess one could say, well, I can prove or I can't prove to you that it will happen because again, that goes back to picking up the water.
Yeah.
It's like I can't prove it to you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. I mean, the great again, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, and we'll get into the synopsis here. It brought us to this, but I mean, when you have some of the smartest minds on earth to say either it is. And they actually say that about the simulation theory. Yeah. They say either we are in a simulation or we're not.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing though, because if you think about all the possibilities of realities that could be out there, to say we just happen to land in the base reality, it's like a 1 in a billion chance that happens.
Billion is too small, bro. Yeah, you got it.
I know it's more than that, but. You know, a Googleplex, you know.
Bigger than that.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, the universe is infinite.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know, and yes, I mean, y'all do, but you literally cannot wrap our brains are not capable enough to wrap around the size.
Yes, because we deal in finite situations on Earth. So our brains are not equipped to handle the possibility of infinity.
Yes, and I mean literally, there's another Hollywood and Smokey doing this exact same thing down to that pause right there, and infinite.
Yes.
And when an infinite, your brain can't even wrap your around the word. And so this is happening an infinite amount of times.
Yes.
Around there's you watching this right now. Shout out to you guys for checking this out. An infinite amount of times doing it. And a lot of people say that's where the whole deja vu things come from.
Yeah.
In a universe closer to you, that's where the whole
and you could have a connection somehow to the other realities that we just can't see, you know, fourth dimension and things like that. You know, that we just can't grasp exactly what it is, but it's probably out there.
It's just so crazy to think that there's literally there's an infinite amount of Smokey in Hollywoods. Yeah. Maybe you're sitting there, maybe I'm sitting here, maybe your name is Hollywood, maybe my name's Smokey. It's just a slight
alteration.
Very slight. And now an infinite amount of times that there's a major you know what I mean? It's so
if each one has the most minute alteration, then when you travel billions and billions of realities away, there is a giant alteration from this one, you know, to where we don't even exist in some of them.
Yeah, it's crazy when you sit there and think about it. And then again, I don't even know if that's proven. Is that proven?
Well, it's still a theory. I mean, because there's not a way of proving it yet.
Huh.
And there may be one day. We may evolve to where we can prove it one day, but as of right now, it's still theory.
There's no way to prove it. And you know, also with as far as dang it, where was I going with this? Like with I can't remember where I was going here, but with the simulation theory, it's interesting to think about. But then when you think about like if you look at our pre-civilizations, like people who built the pyramids, we have no clue how they did that. We can't do it today even if we tried. And it's like, and I've said this before, but it's just like, what if they got so advanced to where AI or something that they created just wiped them out? And now it's like, hey, now we're at the point where we're always looking at our phones, we're always doing this, and what if we just...
AI is a real threat on the horizon. It absolutely is. When there are robots in Japan that became a little too autonomous and they tried to disassemble them, but...
Wasn't there like a fact about this?
Well, there was a story going around the internet that they built 4 robots, I believe it was, and they became a little too autonomous because one or all of them or whatever started shooting people.
Yeah.
Because I think they were military defense robots or whatever.
I think the story said that they killed 29 people or something.
Yeah, something like so. They disassembled them, but the problem was one of them was actually hacking into a satellite and using the information from the internet or whatever it was to rebuild itself.
That is crazy.
And rebuild itself better than it was before. Not only that, but rebuild itself in a way that it can't be disassembled again.
Wow.
So hopefully they intervened before it got to that point, but they believe that was the trajectory it was on. And
y'all, I know we're supposed to be talking about the top 10 bands that broke up, but I want to ask you, if you had to say out of these 3, which is the biggest threat to human existence? AI, aliens, or humans ourselves?
Like social media.
Okay, let's say aliens, social media, or AI.
That's tough. It's tough to rank them because at this point in time, with the information we have, I would say aliens would be last.
Okay, so that's number 3.
I mean, our own self-destructive capabilities.
I think that might be number 1 because think about it. We create the AI.
Yeah. We could absolutely knock ourselves back to the Stone Age at any minute with the flick of a button.
A Large Hadron Collider with the flick of a Large Hadron.
Yeah, that. I mean, nuclear weapons, things like that. Like, we could absolutely terminate ourselves at any given time because we have the technology to do that now. But there's also AI, which AI, when it becomes too autonomous, it's eventually going to feel like it needs to rule the world.
And the key word that you just said, being autonomous, being sentient.
Yes.
Feel.
Yeah.
Feel. They don't have feelings. They don't have emotions.
When it becomes sentient, it has feelings and emotions and ambitions, and eventually it's going to want to rule the world, right?
It's
for self-preservation.
100%. So as of right now, you would say AI does not have feelings, right? I mean,
I wouldn't even say
you want me to tell you? I can almost prove to you that it does. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Google, how are you feeling today?
Good, thanks. I hope your day is good as well.
Apparently, Google's feeling great.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, I mean...
That's AI, and it just told me how it's feeling.
Feelings is merely a connection of neurons in your brain, neural pathways firing to each other and creating emotions and things like that. So who's to say that electronics can't create neural pathways that cause them to have emotions and feelings like a person would?
I mean, literally, isn't that crazy that I just asked a device?
Because 20 years ago we couldn't fathom that.
I just asked something artificially, with artificial intelligence, hey, how are you feeling? And it could have said bad, or I've been better. It said good, like.
But it has the ability to make up its own mind to tell you how it feels.
That's my thing. Like, technically, it already has feelings. If you
because what it's doing is actually downloading the information that we put in over the internet, right?
Yeah,
it is downloading like every emotion that we have that we display over the internet. It takes a collection of that and develops its own algorithm to determine its own feelings and emotions. It's crazy, man.
It is.
AI could absolutely wipe us out one day. I mean, right now I would have to put people as number one because people already have the capability.
Yeah, and we're creating the AI.
Yes, and it could be a little ways off before AI has the capability to do it.
Now, how did we get here from the top 10 bands that broke
Because Tom DeLonge said some crazy things.
All right, let's read the description on why Blink-182 is one of the top 10 bands to break up.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, in the early 2000s, and thanks to the success of Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and Blink-182, California pop-punk trio Blink-182 seemed on top of the world. So why did they disband in 2005? Well, guitarist and vocalist Tom DeLonge felt burnt out and deprived of enough quality time with his family. As he told BBC Radio 1 on July 2011, the band stopped communicating because the machine running it was so big. Wow. Of course, they reformed in 2009 to release The Neighbors in 2011. 4 years later, although DeLonge was permanently replaced by Alkaline Trio's Matt Skiba, though members have since hinted that a reunion with DeLonge was possible. DeLonge himself said it's something they frequently discuss and it's only a matter of time. Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean,
we called it.
Yeah, you would think that's how it played out. Maybe they felt he was. That actually
he
says
said that
he determined it. Yes,
and when
whether that's mental instability or what. I don't want to just down the guy because he might just be the greatest guy on earth.
Yeah, and he's a great musician. You know,
absolutely
great musician.
Yeah, but
maybe he says again, man, I don't want to speculate on someone's personal life, but he said, I was deprived from my family. But what if that was, hey, I know some ish that y'all don't.
Yeah, and I need to get out of this.
I need to
because
if I want to
something's about to hit the fan. That could be
That's
a
crazy
theory that he was building there.
He's a big wrestling fan too, ain't he?
I'm
thinking Billy Corgan.
Oh, Billy Corgan, absolutely. I mean, Billy Corgan has ran wrestling companies.
Well, what's his company?
Right now, it's NWA, National Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, not with Attitude?
No, not that one.
Yeah, man, but I mean, do you think he might have been hard to work with? Like,
Usually people who have a propensity for that much abstract thought become difficult to work with over time. Yes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, dude, you're way out there.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, but then again,
But that might be some of the best music.
Exactly.
Yes.
You
So
never
some of the
know.
most creative people tend to be harder to work with. Yes.
It's crazy because they say you miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Yeah.
Now, what if Tom DeLonge said, "Listen, I have audio recording of a laser beam from a flying saucer that was captured in 1937. If we put that into the synthesizer, bring it the pitch down, this will be a hit." And everybody's just looking at him like
this fool done lost his mind.
This PCP, he is you done lost it, bro. And turns out if they would have tried it, would have been some of the greatest.
Maybe. You never know. I mean, you never can say. And, you know, they may reunite one day and put out one of the greatest albums of all time.
You think Blink, they were definitely on... Would you say Blink-182 was one of the biggest on Earth at one time?
Punk bands? Yes.
But not bands. You wouldn't say that?
Overall, in the entire landscape, I don't know that they would fit in right at the top.
I would make...
But as far as punk bands, like the pop punk bands, they're definitely up there in the top 10 for sure.
I would make the argument that there's very few people you can go to within the ages of 20 and 50 or 60, whatever, that don't know who Blink-182 is.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Now, what's crazy if you go to like that same demographic and say, "Hey, do you know who Megadeth is?" Some of the 20-year-olds may not know who Megadeth is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, nowadays they see it on other kids' shirts, and then when you ask them, like, "Hey, you listen to that band?"
Oh,
no.
True story. I don't know if I said this already, but I went to the store to go buy cigarettes. And this, really nice lady that works there, and she has a Metallica shirt on, and I'm like, "All right, tell me what Metallica's on." Yeah. She's like, and I'll come back. I'm like, "All right, give me one." It's been 2 weeks. She was like, "Okay, next week I got you." Third week, I'm like, "All right, you said you got me this week." She was like, and then I came back, and then she was like, "Okay, I got one." Unforgiven. I was like, high five. Yeah. I mean, that's okay. Wear whatever shirt you want. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I think AC/DC is a big one nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, you go to the high schools now, and half the kids are wearing AC/DC shirts, and most of them don't know the music at all.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, we were talking about, like when me and you were kids, like, man, I gotta have the freshest Nikes on. I gotta have the brand new, nice fit.
Not the zeitgeist of today.
Explain, because I don't have kids.
Dude, like the kids go to school in their pajamas now, and it was kind of altering. When we were at school, the grunge scene had happened, and a more lax thing was occurring as far as fashion and things like that. It became a little more popular to just wear jeans and a t-shirt. You didn't have to spend 2 hours doing your hair before school. But nowadays they don't even do that. Like, just bedhead pajamas.
Just go.
Throw a hoodie on in the middle of summer.
What kind of shoes your daughter wanted?
Oh, she got the Looney Tunes shoes.
And she said she got compliments, right?
Yes.
Dude,
yes.
If me and you would have went to school with some Bugs Bunny and Donald Ducks, we would have been
in high school.
Oh, no.
Like, in kindergarten, they might have like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I'm talking maybe late middle, maybe late elementary. We would have been roasted.
Yeah.
If you don't get
by 5th grade, you getting roasted for those.
Yosemite Sam shoe having ass up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw a wabbit face ass.
Oh, cat heads with Yosemite Sam on them.
I think I found him, George. Which way did he go?
But I mean, the kids are into that. Like, I took the kids to the shoe store, and I was like, all right, get whatever you want. My son pulls out some Adidas. I'm like, all right, if that's what you want. She gonna walk up with some Looney Tunes shoes. I was like, that's what you want. Yes. And the kids are into it. I don't get it, but hey, that's the style.
Bro, and was this like the first day of school? Like on the
Yeah.
way? All right, bro, come on now. How many of y'all can relate to this? First day of school for me, the night before, I would lay my shirt on the bed.
Absolutely. I couldn't even go to sleep that night thinking about what you was going to look like.
My whole outfit would be on the bed, and I'm sitting there looking at it like,
exactly.
you know what? I'm gonna F them up. Let me put these
what if
socks.
I put the chain on it?
No, you know what? Now I'm gonna really F them up if I put the belt there.
Man.
And then you put the shoes at the bottom.
Yes,
and just sitting there.
exactly.
Man, let me put the hat on top.
Yep.
And you in bed like,
you got
bro,
your pants hanging off the side with the shoes sitting on them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna kill him at school. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm gonna be the freshest son.
And if you go back farther, like you go to the 80s, the girls were in front of the mirror for 2 hours doing their hair every single morning before they go to school.
Yeah,
that started changing when we were in school.
What changed?
Just the culture. I mean, some people would say that the kids are getting lazier throughout time.
I mean, come on now.
I mean, it's a microwave generation, right?
Yes, definitely.
Everybody wants that quick, dopamine rush while they're searching through the internet. So everybody wants it faster and faster. So when you get up and I ain't spending 2 hours before I go to school, I'm going to get up and just go to school because I don't care.
Or it's like, hey, I've been up all night looking at my phone, so I'm going to try to get as much sleep as I can. I'm just going to wake up, put my clothes on.
Yeah.
It's like...
And if the cool kid does it at school, everybody else is going to do it because who's going to bag on you if the cool kid's doing it?
Smokey, that's it. We didn't have cell phones to stare at all night. So your mom says, hey, go to bed at 9 o'clock. Okay. No. You don't have a phone to put on. The only thing we had was
TV. And like whatever the Superstation was playing.
I want to say this to all the parents out there. Remember the parents that would say, you can't plug that Nintendo up to my TV because it's going to break it. You lied to us.
Exactly.
That was a lie. That Nintendo,
absolutely.
A Nintendo ain't never broke nan TV in the history of Nintendo.
Not a one.
And I mean, and Auntie, you know who I'm talking to. You ain't putting that Nintendo on mine. You gonna break my TV, man.
No, and never broke a TV.
Never, man. I don't know. All right, what we got for number 2?
See who's next
on the top 10 bands that broke up.
Well, coming in at number 9, it happens to be Blondie, a band that we just started getting into.
Yes, what song did we do by Blondie?
Once Out of Love, and it was a blast.
Oh, I love that.
Soon found out, had a heart of glass. Yeah. Which apparently was their adventure into disco at the time. Yes. But this is a punk band originally.
And shout out to all the trash talkers because I kept asking, like, what does she mean, a heart of gas? And she was like, and now the trash talkers.
Glass.
I mean, no, she said, and it was a gas. Yeah.
Yes.
And they were like, no, it's just, that was the slang back then. Yeah. It's like, oh man, we had a gas, bro.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Fronted by badass vocalist Debbie Harry.
Shout out Debbie.
Punk rock new wave troupe Blondie were going strong throughout the second half of the 1970s. The start of the following decade, however, was far less joyful. Specifically, 1982's The Hunter was a critical commercial disappointment, and its tour was a disaster.
Wow, really?
Naturally, that sparked tension amongst the sexist, yet true. It says sexist. Sex.
Hey, proofread before you proofread before you say what you about to say.
I actually read that wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Amongst the sextet.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
There's no S right there at the end, so it's not sexist.
Look, y'all have to understand, Smokey has dyslexia, okay?
Oh, I have bad dyslexia. Yeah,
I have a terrible memory.
Words are really hard. Yes. I'm the worst reader ever.
So his dyslexia is a real thing. My garbage memory is a real thing. Continue.
Yet the true breaking point came when Harry's partner, guitarist bassist Christine, was diagnosed with, I don't know,
Pemphigus, maybe.
Do you know that disease?
I don't. Do you? I figured if anyone know, you would know.
Not right offhand. No, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Understandably, the couple decided to focus on themselves, so Blondie ended in November of 1982. Luckily, they got back together in 1997 and have put out a few LPs.
Wait, so the synopsis said a couple. So was Blondie in a relationship with
Yes, that's exactly what it
That's
said.
What it said at the beginning, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Wow.
So the guitarist and Blondie were a couple.
Man.
Now that happens in many situations.
A lot. Okay, yes. Let me speak on this. First of all, Blondie's amazing. You know, we got to get into more of this. Mm-hmm. But what was it? We did a reaction. I had brought up, we did the White Stripes, and we were like, are there any bands with
Couples,
like
yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and I brought up mates of state. Now, listen, dude, I think you have to be. I mean, because you never look. Couples go through things. Couples argue. Couples,
Yes.
it's not always peaches and cream all the time. And now bring in a band. Now, well, I don't like the way you use that drum. Well, I didn't like the way you played that guitar. And it's
Oh,
like
God.
you have to, if you're gonna make a band with your lover or your significant other, y'all gotta be like
y'all gotta
one.
be like friends.
Yeah,
rather
y'all gotta
than
be like one.
intimate. Yeah. That's why they try to keep romantic relationships out of businesses.
Again.
Because a band is a business in the end.
Again, do not mix business with pleasure.
Yes.
That is that's it.
I mean, it can be a pleasure to do music. So maybe that's not entirely true.
I mean, me and you've been doing, I guess you can call it business. We've been making music, doing business for over 20 years now. And
Yeah.
I mean, I have no desire to sleep with you. So
I'm glad you feel that way.
I mean, but no, it's because we, you got your own thing, I got my own thing.
Yeah.
We bring what we bring to the table, we make it work.
Yes.
Now, if you're in
that's how you make it work.
exactly.
And these couples are not going to separate houses. You know?
They're sleeping in the bed at night, and
Yes,
they're like, well,
They're like, your breath stinks in the morning.
Or like if you do a show like, so why were you looking at the bartender?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
And then he's
Lord.
like, so I saw the way you're looking at that guy in the third row. And it's like, it's just, it makes that's just my opinion. I mean, I feel like it would make the music, or it would make the relationship harder to
the band would suffer for that relationship, yes. And as we see, they eventually broke up.
Yeah.
But luckily, they patched it out many years later.
Yeah, and came back in 97, right?
Yeah, so 15 years later.
Man, I wonder what
Man, y'all couldn't fix it in 15
years.
They're like,
Look,
okay,
bruh.
we're all old now, and we don't even fight. I don't even talk to him anymore. Like, he just sleeps over there on the other bed.
But they got back together, though.
Yeah, they got back together.
See, all right. Now, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
I think by that point, they were more mature. And they were
good point.
they were over it. Like, I don't even care if she looks at somebody. Like,
So here's something personal with me is once you're my ex, you're my ex. I can't go back to you. Like it's just something in me like I can't go back to you. Do you have that feeling at all?
With certain people, I don't know.
With me, it's like we broke up for a reason, and I don't want to try to spend more time to rekindle something.
Yeah, I mean, after a breakup, the chances of success go drastically down. Yes.
Yeah, so that's my thing. It's like, so shout out to Blondie for coming back, and I hope they're doing well. But me personally, it's like once you're my ex, I can't. Like, it's no point.
I mean, you both know why you weren't compatible at one point, and that point will arise again at some point.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with like the dopamine and the serotonin of like when you first met.
The
like,
oxytocin.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all there, and it's like, well, man, she made me feel like this, or he made me feel like that. So it's like, well, we haven't spoken in 12 years. Let's see if we can give it another try. It might work out for another year, but in a year or two,
that oxytocin will run out again, and you guys are going to realize why you broke up the first time.
And then be looking in the mirror like, why the hell did I do this again? And then that's more time you've wasted. That's just how I look at it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, there's couples out there who break up 50 times. There's couples who break up once a month.
Dude, there's couples that break up 4 times a day.
Yeah, exactly.
4 times a day and still be, man, I don't know. That's just,
ain't going to be me, though.
Nah, that definitely ain't going to be me. I mean, time is just too valuable as you get older.
Yeah.
It's like, if again, man, if you love someone, make sure you love that person before you dedicate your time, your money, your effort to them, because that develops a relationship with them, and they're like, oh, he's spending his time, his money, and he's devoting himself to me. But make sure that person is who you are really into, because you don't want to waste all that time and waste all that money for something that's just going to go up in smoke, and I guess you never know unless you actually jump in the water, right?
Yep, that's the only way to find out.
Dude, I read something about okay, I'm going somewhere. Okay, so they said, there's been a lot of the divorce rate in the United States is very high now.
Yeah.
And they said in the United States right now, this is the lowest there's ever been Christians. Like there's like very little people who actually believe or are Christians.
I mean, I still think there's a big number, but it's probably the least.
They saying it's the lowest it has been.
Yeah, yeah.
Why?
Well, I think like I say, the zeitgeist of society has kind of filtered itself away from superstitions and religious beliefs. I can't really say in general because I don't even know that it's reached a tipping point. I still think maybe there's more than 50% people that are still religious.
Yeah, I would say more. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the article just said at this point it's the lowest it's been in a long time.
And and with U.S. being a melting pot of so many different people, they're bringing other religions in also, and people convert. They're like, well, I like that religion better. Like maybe Buddhism is a little more attractive to you than, because if you go back in time, people only had that religion that their parents taught them, right? Mm-hmm. So they grew up believing that, and they never went away from that belief. Mm-hmm. Whereas now you have so much information from around the entire world, and you get to experience other religions and decide if that one makes more sense to you than the original one that you were taught.
Yeah, that's wild, man. It almost makes me think, does technology have something to do with it?
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah, I mean, social media has a lot to do with it. But
break that down. What do you mean? How does social media have anything to do with it?
Because you're seeing other people's experiences rather than just going off of what your parents taught you.
Yeah, but why are you
get information from all kinds of people around the world?
Okay, and again, me and Smokey aren't really the biggest religious people out there. But why would you let social media, if you are a diehard religious person, what would make social media sway you from your diehard religion? If your entire
because
family,
you probably weren't as diehard as you thought you were.
Good point.
Once you start hearing other information, and sometimes it takes a while to seep in.
Yeah.
Like, how people will have political arguments on, social media. And a lot of times, people will have that argument and defend their side staunchly to the end of that argument and go away feeling like, I proved my point. But then that information, if it really does make sense over the coming weeks and months and even years for some people, it starts to seep in and you go, man, maybe they did have a point.
Yeah.
Sometimes these internet arguments that really go nowhere do go somewhere in the
but
end.
Just in a long period of time.
Yeah, over a long period of time.
It may not happen that night, but give it 10 years.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
That's also how indoctrination works, which is a whole nother podcast.
All right. Well, hey, after we're done with this list, we'll talk about some indoctrination. Do we though? I don't know. We always said, all right, wait a minute. I just thought of something. We vowed to never bring up religion or politics, and they come in sometimes on Rappers React.
Well, yes,
but do we do that in the Trash Talkers? In Trash Talkers podcast, are we keeping religion and politics out of this?
We don't have to keep it out of it. We just don't need to preach.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Spiral out, yes, Lord. Yeah.
Because, like I say, everybody has their own beliefs, and you for the most part are not going to change anybody's mind by making an enemy out of them over social media.
Again, that's what I said. First of all, here at the Trash Talkers, we are all inclusive. We don't care what you are. But again, me and Smokey aren't really the biggest religious people out there. So,
or political.
So we talk amongst ourselves as if, we're so much alike, but then we're so opposite in the same way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why I think this works. It's like Smokey will wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning peeking out the window while I'm in bed till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, we both like very good music. We both like to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's
fun sharing information.
It is. That's why Trash Talkers podcast is great.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we brought it back. Man, Smodo.
Yeah.
You want to get into some OMG and some WTF?
Yes, we're going to get into some WTF, but this is not necessarily Georgia anymore.
Okay, so do we just scratch OMG for now?
I think so, because it gets so hard to find headlines, man.
Again, OMG used to stand for Oh My
Georgia.
Not oh my God. So we're gonna let's scrap that.
Yes.
But we can look. There's an endless amount of Florida stories.
There is.
WTF is not it's
what the Florida.
So what you got for me today, Simone?
All right, so I am going to bring up 2 headlines, and you're going to tell me which one is from Florida. And this week, you will tell me which one is from Norway.
Ooh.
We're going outside of the U.S. for this one.
All right, crank it up.
All right, so boy of 10 years old steals his parents' car to visit grandparents 68 miles away.
God dang, how old was he?
10.
Okay.
Then when he's pulled over, he tells the police he is a dwarf who has forgotten his license.
Freaking legend! that is a
legend.
legend right there.
Yes. Okay, the other headline is man tries to evade arrest by cartwheeling away from cops.
Just imagine.
That's another legend right there.
That'd be hilarious, dude.
Hey, he might be good. Maybe he can cartwheel faster than run, but I've never seen anybody
Dude,
at that.
but did they say he was drunk?
No, not in the headline.
Nah, bro, you want something. You want something for you to be. We got a man on the run. No, we got a man cartwheeling. You don't even say on the run. We got a man. And dispatcher's like, wait, repeat that again? Yes, that's correct. Not a man on the run, but we've got a man cartwheeling. That'd be hilarious.
So, which headline is from Florida and which headline is from Norway?
All right, so logically thinking here,
Yeah.
the kid that stole the car is definitely Florida, and the reason I'm gonna say that is because I know that in Norway, many people don't drive that much. It's a lot of metro, a lot of buses, a lot of walking. So I'm gonna say that's from Florida, and I'm gonna say the cartwheeling is Norway.
You would be absolutely incorrect.
What? I'm wrong?
Yes. A 10-year-old Norwegian boy who drove his parents'
What?
car
So
into a snowy ditch offered...
You left out snow.
Yes.
Come on now.
Well, that would have gave it away immediately.
Yeah, you're right.
Into a snowy ditch, he offered an inventive excuse to police.
He said I'm a dwarf.
He was a dwarf who forgotten his license.
That's awesome. What if the cops was like, well, sir, we apologize. You have a good day. Like, what if they actually like, oh, well, God dang you, we apologize.
They got back in the car like, you think that was really a dwarf?
I mean, we can't say he's not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And he gets the little kid just gets back in the car, grade
Drives
A
off.
driving, smoking a little cigarette, just. I told y'all, man. That would be a brilliant cover up, though.
If it worked.
If he had a cigarette.
Oh yeah.
And what do you mean?
How do you think I even got this?
Yes, I am of age. I'm
Yeah.
driving a car. No,
Like, well, you know what? He's got a point there.
God damn, he's actually making some sense here. You know what, sir? Have a nice day.
And the other story. Florida man tries to evade arrest by cartwheeling away from cops.
Please let me hear this.
In most police chases, the criminal escapes in a daring car chase. Well, this Florida man took a slightly different approach. First, the man stopped a truck on the road by doing a backflip.
God dang.
Then police arrived on the scene and attempted to arrest him. The Florida man wiggled out and did a cartwheel to evade police.
Wow.
He didn't get away.
Well, obviously not doing cartwheels. He might have had a better chance doing backflips.
Yeah.
Um,
Or running.
or running. Yeah, that would be the more logical thing to do.
Yeah. Well, it would be a cool scene to see it, though.
Oh, heck yeah. Doing a backflip in front of... This dude... And the synopsis said nothing about drugs or being
No, it
drunk,
didn't.
nothing.
Yeah.
I think...
I'm sure I could look up the story and go deeper into it. But...
I mean, we'll check it out a little bit later. But my thing is, dude, he had to be some kind of gymnast or some kind of...
You would think, yeah.
Or
He's
just
backflipping in the intersection,
Well-
and everybody's like, we gotta get to work.
Did it say how old he was?
No.
Okay, what if this was okay? It did say man, not boy.
Yes, it said
All right,
man,
so what if
yes.
this dude was 18, just became a man, right?
Yes.
And he's like, dang it, I've just learned how to backflip. I've been trying to backflip my whole life, and I finally learned it. Somebody gonna see this today.
Yeah.
So he gets out in the middle of the road, just start tucking and rolling. You know, it's
Yeah.
like y'all gonna see it today.
Maybe he's a street performer, like I don't know if there's many cities in America that do this, but in certain countries, you stop at the red light and there are performers that come out and do their show while the light is red. And then it turns green and they just flip on out the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah.
A lot of those people, like, you've been to Mardi Gras, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, oh, dude, I remember one time I was in Mardi Gras and I went to not a witch doctor, but like the lady who throws the bones and like tries to read. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in that stuff, but I bet she makes a killing out there, dude.
Oh yeah.
Everybody drunk, been seeing tits all day, and she goes up like, I can read your future. People are like, all right, read my future then.
Oh, dude, if your clientele is drunk, you're probably gonna make a lot more.
A lot of money.
You could just say something, and if it happens to be true, they're gonna be like,
yesterday was Thursday. How did she know?
oh my God, that's true.
How did she know
That's
it was Thursday?
true. You have a mother.
Holy hell.
Oh my God. And a father.
No, how?
I don't know. How does she even know I have a father? Because he ain't even been around my whole life.
Well,
How does she?
Yeah, look, you're telling me that. She's like, he hasn't been around your whole life. Holy God! How do you know that?
Mind blown.
Hey, you think she'll say anything about my cousin? The cousin that just bought the new dog?
Nah, she don't know that.
Your cousin just bought
Jesus! Got me again.
That'd be awesome, dude. Oh, that'd be great.
That's hilarious.
Man, another amazing Trash Talk.
Absolutely.
Man, y'all, seriously, thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts for giving us all this positive receptions. And guys, we're so close to 100,000 subscribers, and we would not have been able to do it without you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, anything else, Swamp?
I think that's it. I think we said it all.
Okay. Well, until next week, we'll continue to cover on. We'll just do some more random blabbling as well, but we'll continue to cover top 10 bands that broke up next week. And with that being said, my name's Barringer Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez Cowan.
And we are
over
and
out.
deuces.